Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to this B2GM series, which was heavily requested by lots of my followers and friends on Discord. At first I didn't really want to do it because I thought it was already done before, so I thought why the hell would I do it, but even then people really pushed me to do it, so I was like okay, drop your gun, I will do it. So here we go, in bronze 3. So I had to lose a lot of game to get there, but okay, so let's begin. First game against Wawa, which is probably not a pro gamer, right? So of course you queue a probe. I was almost tempted to split, but I want to play as simple as possible, so I want to hotkey my Nexus. Don't pay attention to the 2 over here, just queue whatever feels comfortable to you. Then at 14 supply, so on top right hand corner, you can see the supply. I'm right now at 14 out of 15, so I'm going to make a pylon over here. It doesn't really matter where you make it, right? I'm trying to make a small wall like this, but it does not really matter. Notice my production is continuous. I never want to miss a beat when it comes to making probes. And when your Nexus finishes, we're going to get a gateway. There you go. And we're going to send the probe across the map like this. And you can use your Nexus hotkey, double tap it to get back to it, and rally back to minerals, and we're gonna get a little chrono boost. Now gas at 17 supply, and we want to chrono boost aggressively in the early game so that we can get as many probes as possible, which is gonna get lots of income, and this income will be transformed into buildings and units. So as you can see, the amount of workers on top of my Nexus is 17 out of 16, which means we have one too many, right? When it comes to optimization, so I want to put probes in the gas instead. And you can use the rally point, right, like this rally point, by right clicking on my gas. Okay, my dude is getting attacked, so I'm just gonna go away, go home again. Oh, I lost my probe, we don't care. Oh, I think it's still alive. So we go core at 20 supply, and the probe that made the core is also going to make a Nexus, right? There you go. You can hotkey the Nexus. You use shift plus the hotkey you used for your first Nexus. It's gonna add the new Nexus to your new hotkey. I mean, to already existing hotkey. Resume probe production as early as possible. You can see the little white dot over here, means that I made a probe. And you can make a little pylon over there as well. And then we go back to mining. Oh, 4 out of 3, a little bit of a mistake. So we're gonna take the other gas. There you go. And just put that guy to mining. So we're gonna go Stalker and Warp Gate. Warp Gates, you don't want to forget this upgrade because this will transform your gate into Warp Gate, right? And it's gonna be extremely important to not forget this upgrade, right? The Stalker is a pretty versatile unit, shoots up, so just good to make it. And the moment you've got oversaturation, right, it's over 17 out of 16, we're gonna rally down. So always monitor your worker count. Right now I'm 3 out of 3, 3 out of 3. 17 out of 16, one too many. This guy's gonna go downstairs. And whenever you got 100 gas, you can get a robo like this. You can hotkey your robo as well and just resume the probe production. You can queue several probes to make sure you do not forget. We're gonna get one last Stalker, and we're gonna chrono boost both your Nexus in the main and natural. You want to make as many probes as possible rapidly, so then they will compound in the later stages to bring a lot of cash to the table. There you go. So you could use camera hotkeys, but we're not gonna talk about this. I think it's a bit too complex when you begin the game in bronze. And we're gonna get some extra gates, just like that. You could add the gateways to your hotkeys. Keep making probes, of course. Use whatever hotkeys feels comfortable, right? I usually like, and as I said, I'm gonna go Observer and Immortal. Try to press the hotkeys. You see it's B and I. Try to press B and I on your keyboard instead of just clicking like this. It's a good habit to take. Now you can see my supply on the top right hand corner, 44 or 46, which means we're getting close to getting supply blocked. So just get more pylons, you know. You can make several, it doesn't really matter. And then shift back to mining. So you could keep this Observer at home in case your opponent plays Dark Templars, which are invisible. You need this detection. And since I'm getting close to full saturation on this base, right, I'm gonna get the geysers. And you keep building probies. So you could get some units, right? You could warp in 3 Stalkers, for example. You could group them up or split them, doesn't really matter. If you're feeling unsafe, you could maybe make a little battery like this. This will help regenerate the hit points, or the shields, I should say, of your units. And whenever this gas is finished, just put 3 probes inside it. 1, 2, 3. I was gonna say something else, something stupid in French. I'm not gonna say it. And there you go. You could make 1 more immortal. Very powerful unit. It kills stalkers in 4 shots, so very effective. Very robust unit. This is why it's called the immortal. And then we're going to go for Twilight Council and Forge. So I like the idea to put the 2 buildings next to each other. Why? Because you're not gonna forget one upgrade or the other, because 2 buildings are linked. When you start the first upgrade, you will naturally start the other. And you could also chrono boost both buildings in a very simple manner just because they're next to each other. You could keep making some more units if you want to, if you're feeling unsafe. Or if you're not feeling unsafe, you could decide to not make more units, because all the minerals you spend into units are minerals that won't be available to make buildings. And right now, as we start +1 attack and charge, we want to get a lot of buildings. Gateways in this case. I would recommend you go all the way to 10, because at this level it's not easy to spend your resources, right? So get more gates than what is usually required, and you should be just fine. So you add by using shift on your pre-existing hotkey. You see it went from 3 to 10, and we're gonna go Templar Archive as well. So our minerals will go mainly into Zealots, and because of the Templar Archive, our gas is going to go into Archons. These 2 units will pair very well together. And now I've got everything that I need. I can finally start making units. So I press Z and just move my mouse along. So because we've got lots of gates, we need enough supply to power it. So let's go and get some pylons. Just make many pylons like that. You could also make pylons next to your buildings over here to protect them in case one dies. But here I already have 3 of them, so I should be just fine. So always try to warp in Archons in priority. So I'm gonna make my Archons, and always use all of your gateways. Try not to leave any gateway idle. Remember, you're a robo hotkey. You're gonna press it, and you're gonna queue a warp prism. There you go. So usually your army hotkeys, if you're using grid, it means that your A move button is T instead of A by default. So it's nice to have your army hotkey above T if you're indeed using grid. But if, like me, you're using the default hotkeys, which means A is to attack, then A is going to be on most keyboards, whether you're using French or American layout. It's going to be on the left side of your keyboard, right? So you want your army hotkeys to also be on the right, so 1, 2, 3, for example. In this case, these are not my real hotkeys, actually. This is a bit messed up, so because yes, I can do that. All right, we're going to go across the map, and as you cross the map, you could make some more pylons, because we've made a lot of units thus far and we want to have enough supply available. So just grab 1 probe and this guy is going to do all the job, right? As you approach your opponent's base, make sure you warp in 1 last time. So you're going to turn on your warp prism into prismatic mode, or whatever the hell it's called, and just warp again. If you do not know how to warp in very fast like I just did, I use something called rapid fire. These are settings that I've covered already on my channel, so you can check out the video on StarCraft 2 settings, and you will have an explanation how to set that up. It's actually pretty easy. So now, step number 2, we're gonna maybe warp in 1 last time. Just Zealots, make our life easier. You add the Zealots to the hotkey, and then you do your most beautiful A move. You A move behind this natural, and if you've done things right, you should win the game. So let's see how it goes. I'm not doing anything. I just A move behind the Nexus, behind the mineral line, and I'm not doing anything else. I'm just watching right now. I'm just watching. And looks like it's a victory. So you see, I'm not doing anything fancy. Protoss Macro Master. I'm a Macro Master, see? It's working wonders already. So I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible. So now we're playing against a random player. The one thing I like to do against random is to wall the natural instead of just making your buildings randomly in the main. Why is it the case? Because there's 1/3 of chance that my opponent is Zerg. And against Zerg, you need to wall this area. This is my natural. As you can see, this area is blocked. So I'm going to rally down like this. Because they can make lots of Zerglings. There are small units and they actually can get inside your main and kill every probe, which is not ideal. You see on the map, there's a little indicator over here. Map makers are actually very friendly. So you can actually build your pylon on top of this little indicator. And you can see the power field, I think it's called, is gonna just be, the line is gonna be on the edge. So our friend is actually not Zerg, it's Protoss. Okay. So I'm just going to get my gate and scout like this. Resume probes. I use my hotkey. I just double tap the Nexus hotkey and I just get probes. Remember, we should be getting our gas. And you could hotkey this little gate as well. Right. And I'm just paying attention on the probe production. This is by far the most important task you need to do. Scouting is secondary because when you scout, you need to know what you're looking for. And if you're just beginning at the game, if you're a beginner, you have no clue what's going on anyway. So might as well spend your energy making units and following the build. So right now I'm going to get a Nexus. 20 supply Nexus, right? And the probe that made the Nexus is going to be working very hard because it's going to make a cyber core as well. So it's very easy. You make the gate on one edge and you build a core on the other edge. And you will be making a gate in the middle later and will finish the wall. So this little hardworking probe is going to go back to work. And we're going to get a geyser at 21. Beautiful. At 22 is when you get a pylon. Because if you don't, you will get supply blocked. And of course, supply blocked will keep you stuck in bronze. So don't do that. See, oh, I forgot to actually put probes in the gas. No big deal, put the probes in the gas like this. It's just fine. So you can just check rapidly whether your opponent actually has a Nexus or not. No big deal. And we're gonna go Stalker, just like last game. Very versatile unit. And we're going to start Warp Gate. Make sure you do not forget Warp Gate. It's a terrible thing to have happen. Happened to me in tournaments, and I highly regret it. So now I'm just gonna monitor my main base and check if my workers are just working properly. 3, 3, 16. I have one too much here. This guy's gonna go towards the natural. And now I'm gonna queue some probes, right? Chrono Boost and Chrono Boost. Make sure your both buildings are always making probes. Now we're gonna get an extra Stalker out of safety. And I have a bit more than needed to actually get the robo, so I'm going to get the robo. So how do I make this? I just leave one gap, so you can leave just one gap between this robo and gate, right? And basically this robo is gonna hug the core, right? And I'm going to make one last stalker. So get the habit of pressing the Nexus button so you can actually make probes. So for me it's 5E, 5E, 5, 5, E, E, E. Make lots of probes. There you go. So right now my warp gate is close to finishing. I'm gonna get 2 extra gates, which enable me to make more stalkers to defend myself if I need to. And because I have more production, I need more pylons to support that. I can just briefly look around if I want to. Oh, there's a cannon. Beautiful. Okay, now my robo finishes. Just like the previous game, I'm gonna go Immortal and... Observer first for detection, and then Immortal. And the Observer builds very rapidly. And you can even Chrono Boost if you're feeling fancy, right? I have 1 gate, I'm gonna warp in 1 unit. Oh shit, I'm actually overly saturated. What does it mean? It means I need to take my gases. So you can use Shift, so this probe can build both, and then back to the minerals, right? So no probe is left idle. Looks like my supply is getting close to being capped, so I'm gonna get some more of these, right? And I'm going to go Twilight Council and Forge once again next to each other, so I can get both upgrades and not forget them. Oh, looks like I'm not making probes. I'm a bad student, so I'm gonna go back to making probes. And I'm gonna get 1 more Immortal. Why the hell not, right? So, we can do 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Actually, now I'm fully saturated. 3318, which is 2 more than we need, and main is saturated. So I'm gonna stop here, not make any more workers. If I'm feeling unsafe, I could potentially warp in units. Press S, and get some stalkers. Okay, both buildings are done. We're gonna go charge and +1 attack. There you go. And I could press my Nexus hotkey and just chrono boost them, so they get done quicker. Now I'm gonna grab one little probie and get gateways all the way to 10. So I have 3 already, so we need 7, right? I think you should be able to do that math. Should be within your realm of competence. All right, that's 7, and we're gonna go Templar Archive. Once again, our goal is to spend our minerals into Zealots and our gas into High Templars. It's gonna split the resources perfectly. A lot of gateways mean a lot of pylons, so we're gonna get many pylons to make sure we don't get supply. But let's get tons and tons of pylons. Let's go. Look at this beautiful geometry figure I'm making here. Beautiful. So many pylons. And now I've got everything that I need. I've got the gateways, the technology. So all I need to do is make units from the gateways non-stop. So I'm just gonna get some Zealots. My Templar Archive just finished. To make an Archon, you need 300 gas. So try to stay in pairs of 300. Right now I'm 800, so not quite 900 yet. So I can make 1 and 2. And see, I'm lacking a bit of gas to actually go all the way to 300. And now at 300 I can make the final pair of Templars. And always spend the entirety of your gateway. Never leave your gateways idle. This is a very important habit to take. I'm gonna morph these bad boys into blue balls. And now I'm gonna press my Nexus, my Robo hotkey. Try not to click on it. Get the habit to press the hotkey. It's a very important habit to take. And we're gonna go for Warp Prism. And if you're feeling fancy, you can even Chrono Boost it. So I just heard upgrade complete. I can go back and queue +2 once +1 is done. And I will just get more units. Looks like all my gateways have refreshed. I can warp in more units. Always use all of them, right? And Rapid Fire does a good job at enabling you to do that. Okay, so I've warped 2 rounds of units, which is a lot. There's a good chance I could get supply blocks soon. I'm 115 out of 142, which is enough room. But I just want to make sure I get some pylons. So yeah, just shift so that this probe can queue several pylons at once. Then I can just press F2, right? Or use an army hotkey and just cross the map. Notice I'm not attacking in his base. I'm attacking a bit before his base. Why do I do that? Because we're gonna warp even more units as we approach his base. And if I attack over here, there's a good chance I'm gonna come across his own units, which means it's gonna mess everything up. So I wanna take things one step at a time. So I turn my Warp Prism into warping mode. And brrr, I print a couple Zealots. And there again, I'm going to just move like this behind his base and not do anything fancy. I'm just going to look. So attacking up a small ramp like this can be a bit fancy, right? And dangerous, but it's okay. Trust the process. You know, just move like this behind and don't care about the rest, right? And what you can do is go back to your Warp Prism and warp more units. This is what you can do. And once the units are done, you can just press A move and they will join the rest of the army. And that's the way it's done. You see, I'm not doing anything fancy when it comes to micro. I just want to follow thoroughly my build order to make sure I've got as many units as possible and then I can go get it, right? So we've got a Terran. Looks like we've played 2 races so far. I mean, 2.5, I would say, because we played a random player. We still have to play against a Zerg. You will see against Zerg, we will wall at the low ground of the natural, as I said, to make sure we don't get bothered by Zergling and so on. But as of now, we're going to get a little Terran opponent. So once again, first things first, I queue a probe and I hotkey my Nexus to whatever hotkey feels comfortable. And I just make probes. We're at 14, which means we need to get a pylon. So just get a little pylon. And go back to making probes. So you can see the power field around it. You want to utilize it as much as possible. When you make pylons over here, it means you've got a lot of space around the pylon to build things from, right? I'm gonna rally out, select the probe, get a gate, and just, you could even right click on the minimap. See, I'm just right click on the top right hand corner of the minimap, and the probe will just go to work. Then we chrono boost the nexus, and once again we get the Vespin geyser. Shift so that the probe gets back to work. And you can queue several probes, just make sure you are actually queuing probes properly. Right, so we will be making, once again, our nexus at 20, right? I'm at 17 out of 16, which means one of these needs to go to the gas. And now I'm at 20 supply, which means I need to build my nexus. There you go. Remember, the guy that makes... Oh, he's bothering us. This probe can just walk away. It's okay. The guy that made the nexus is going to get the core. So hotkey your nexus to the pre-existing one, and then you have both nexus on the same hotkey. This probe is going to go get a core, back to work, and resume the probe production. So I'm at 17 out of 16, which means one of these needs to go to the gas. Then it's perfect. So we go gas, like this. And I like to make the 22 supply pylon in my natural. So we're gonna go make it here. And this guy goes to the gas. Use the rally points like this when you've already reached full saturation. Just use the rally points like that. So this guy is bothering us. You can just attack the SCV. I lost the probe. It's okay. No problem. And we go Stalker and Warp Gate. And now that our saturation is perfect in the main, 3 in the gas, 60 on the minerals, rally towards the natural. Oh, looks like my nexus finished, which means I press the E button on my keyboard with a lot of rage and chrono boost both your nexus. And then we're gonna go for Stalker number 2 and just make probes. You see, I'm always monitoring whether I'm making probes or not. Oh, looks like there's a little nuisance coming our way. I'm just gonna A-move it and not pay attention to it. So, remember, we need to get our robo. My robo is a bit late. I should have made it ideally when I had 100 gas. I have 200 gas when I made it, so not ideal. Okay, our stupid Stalker is going all the way here. You know what? I'm gonna leave 1 in the top, 1 in the bottom, and I'll be just fine. Just attack like this, and I resume my probe production. Try not to get distracted by reapers like that, and just focus on making probes. This is the most important task you can do. So I need 2 extra gates. I'm just gonna make it here because I don't have much space in my main base. I will add my 2 gates to the hotkey, and as I mentioned earlier, I will get pylons over there in my main that will cover a lot of room to make buildings. See, all this room will soon be available to make buildings, which is amazing. I press my robo hotkey, I don't click it. Then I press B to make an observer, and I press I to make an immortal. And I can get a little Stalker, why the hell not? If you're feeling scared, you can make a shield battery in your natural. This will help keep your units alive. Okay, little pylon. And oh, looks like I'm not doing a good job making probes. I will resume making probes. And because I'm soon fully saturated on minerals, it means I need to anticipate and already get the gases so that I don't have an excedent of workers, if that makes sense. So, what is the next step of our build? Did you guess? Yes, it's Twilight Council and Forge once again. I want to only focus on one single strategy to make things as simple as possible. You just want to learn one build at first, and once you've mastered it, then you can add new stuff, but you need to master this first. We're gonna get an extra immortal, and I think I heard in my headset that our gas is finished. So grab 3 probes, 1, 2, 3. You can use shift to remove one like this. At least for me it's shift. I think it's by default, right? And now I'm fully saturated. 3, 3, 17. Perfect. So we go +1 attack and charge. We can chrono boost both these buildings like this. And we're gonna go for a gateway explosion, as they say in France. So remember, we have 3, we want 10, so we need 7. So we can do BG, 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 right? I will add all the gates to my existing gateway hotkey, and I will just get lots of pylons, and I will make pylons specifically next to my gates, so that in case one pylon dies, I should say, we call that an Artosis pylon, then he's got more friends to help protect it, right? So our gateways are safe. Did I make a Templar archive? Yes, I did. And then we can just make units. Because we're going to cross the map very soon, I just get a little warp prism. Try to click on your, try to click on your keyboard and not on the icon, right? Good habit to take. And I'm gonna get some Archons. So look at my resources. I've got almost 900 gas, which means we can get 3 Archons. And I spend the leftover gateways into Zealots. Always try to spend the gas first, and then you spend the minerals. After you warp in, a good habit is to get plenty of pylons so that you can warp in the next cycle, right? If you tend to forget to make pylons, just get 5 or 6 at once. No problemo. Okay, we've got our army. It looks like our gateways are all about to be refreshed, which means we can do another round of units. So I'm going to see, I've got enough for 1 Archon, and the rest will go into Zealots. Just hold Z and move the mouse. I'm gonna morph this guy into Archon, and what you can do is just press F2. There you go. For me it's space, right? You hotkey your army, Control 1 for me, and then you just aim move, not to their base literally, but just a bit before, like over there is beautiful, so that you have time to actually make more units, right? So don't aim move like a madman. So my army is about to reach its location. Looks like there's a terrifying army heading our way. And I'm gonna warp in one more round of units. So I need to move so that I have space to warp in. Select my gateways, press Z, and print a bunch of stuff. I just double click my Zealots and just shift and 1. This will add my units to the hotkey. And then my minimap is blinking. It's okay, relax. I will aim move behind this base, and I will still pay attention to what's going on here. And because it's blinking very hard at home, I will click home, see what's going on. Okay, I will just get some Zealots, press Z like this, and now I can either go down and aim move this, or just mass up. I will just go, so I will aim move like this and see what happens. So Zealots are Protoss units, so obviously they're winning the fight. Barely, yeah, they're winning, okay. And if I need to, I can warp even more. Oh, I'm supply blocked. There you go, and I won on the other side of the map. I just won. Great. So you see, I'm just focusing on one single build. I'm not trying to do 1,000 things at once. Just learn one solid build and just move from there. Try to learn that build thoroughly. You get the habits of making probes, of getting the robo on time whenever you have 100 gas, making sure you get the gateways on time, the habit of always warping units whenever your gates are available, and then finally getting pylons to allow you to actually warp in the said units. Alright, we get to play against Joker, our Terran opponent. So still no Zerg, sadly. I would like to play a little Zerg so I can show you what it looks like. We're pretty much doing the same build against her. So once again we click the Nexus and head to the hotkey. The more you do it, the more it's gonna be printed inside your brain, and the easier it's going to become, right? So at 14 supply, I grab one worker and just get a pylon. Shift command and back to work. And I'm always making probes, right? Making probes is, as redundant as it sounds, is really the most important thing you need to do. So always make sure you're making workers all the time. I will rally out like this next to the location I want to make my gateway. And this little guy is going to get the gate. And once again, I'm just clicking on my minimap to make things easier. And the probe's going to cross the map to scout. Chrono boost the Nexus. And we're going to grab one of these to get the pylon. Shift command back to minerals. And I will hotkey my gateway. And there you go. I'm at 16 out of 16, which means it's probably time to rally to the gas. And you see? Just chilling, you know. Hands off the keyboard. Chilling. Okay, we're at 20 supply. I could have rallied down actually instead of leaving my hands off the keyboard. And I'm gonna get a Nexus. Nexus at 20. I add the Nexus to the existing hotkey and I've got both my Nexus to on one's hotkey. So now we get our cyber core whenever possible at 20 as well. The same probe is gonna build both buildings. And then finally I can resume probe production, my favorite hobby. Making probes, making probes, making probes. Now I'm gonna get one probe and get this pylon downstairs. I really like to get this pylon downstairs. Why? Because I can make a little wall if I need to. And because I can get batteries also if I need to protect my units. And I can also warp in units down as well. If you make your pylon next to a Nexus like this, it will enable you to warp in units faster than if you made a pylon like this over here, for example. Okay, resume probes. And we're gonna get Stalker and Warp Gate. Just chrono boost your Stalker, just out of safety. And it looks like our probe got stuck. Damn. We have no clue what's going on. Oh, there's an eBay. Okay. Okay, we cannot get in. Fine, this guy will go home. My Nexus just finished. What do we do when our Nexus is done? What do we do? Yes, we chrono boost both of these. Oh, I'm at 17 out of 16. No bueno. One goes down. And then I'm gonna get one more Stalker and our robotics facility. And you hotkey this robo. Make sure you get the habit of always hotkeying your buildings. If you struggle at making probes, which is probably going to be the case, you can do two, even 3, even 4 probes in a row. Just make sure these Nexus are always making workers. So that if you're busy doing something else, at least you know the worker production is not on hold. So we're gonna go for a gate, another gate, and shift command back to work. There we go with a final Stalker. And our Stalker can maybe go to the front like this. You could get one battery out of safety. If you forget to make it, it's okay. You're going to die if you get attacked. But who cares? You're trying to learn the game anyway. So, Observer into Immortal. And just press the buttons of your keyboard if you can. It's really important. Oh shit, I'm supply blocked. What a loser. So I'm just gonna get some more pylons. Once again, I try to utilize all of the space in my main. See all the space that I will have to make buildings? Beautiful. Beautiful. 16 out of 16, which means it's probably time to get the gases. One probe can go gas, gas, and then shift, right click, and it will go back to mining minerals. So it looks like I've got 3 gateways. I only have 3 units, which is not a lot, so I'm just gonna press S and get some more of these. You could press F2 and just regroup your units like this, right? Okay, I need to fill these gases. I use shift. You know, if you select too many like this, use shift and left click, and it will remove probes to the desired number, so 3. Okay. Now I need my favorite buildings, Twilight Council and Forge. Once again, just making them next to each other. They're very good friends. They like to hang out together. I mean, they don't hang very far because, of course, they don't move, but at least they're together. And what do I need? Oh, gateways, that's true. All the way to 10 once again. So, uno, dos, tres, and then we need more. And we've got 7, so that's 10 to add the gates to the existing hotkeys, make it 10. I can go Templar Archive. And I don't want to forget my upgrades, you know, I almost forgot them. Charge and +1 attack. Press the Nexus hotkey, C click, C click. And because I've got so many gateways, I need so many pylons. And I will just surround my gates with more pylons to make sure they're well protected in case one pylon gets destroyed. I've got plenty of them to back them. There you go. And this probe, finally, after a long day of work, this guy made like literally 20 buildings. It can go back to mine. After a long day of work, more work. Alright, we go. 1 Archon, 2 Archon. You see I'm 200 gas, which means not enough to get an Archon. So I will just spend the rest into Zelds. All the gateways have been used. It means I've got 20 seconds to chill. If I want to cross the map, I will need a way to reinforce my army, so I need a War Prism. So I just press the hotkey, and I press the hotkey to make a prism. And I could even chrono boost it. I'll go back to my army, and I think my gateway should be available. There you go, my gateways are available to warp again. Check my gas. Okay, I can get one of these. It's almost 300, so I'm gonna wait. And there you go, I can finally afford that. And then all the way to 10 units with my remaining minerals. So my prism just popped, which means it's time to press my favorite button as a Protoss player, which is F2. I will F2 and still hotkey my army in 1. Control 1. And I will A move once again a bit before I arrive to his base. I do not click here, right? I click just a bit before, like this. I will go back to my base because I've made a lot of units. And when you make a lot of units, there's a good chance you get supply capped. So we're gonna get more pylons. You see, I'm not spreading them too much at this point. I like to make them very close to each other, which means they will get built faster. Because if my probe were going to make a pylon over there, the travel time would of course take a while. So I will have less units in time. So prism in phase mode, and I will just warp in some zones. And once again, in true Protoss fashion, I will F2 and I can grab my army in one other hotkey. I'll press the hotkey and it will just move behind the wall. Now pay attention to the wall because there's a good chance this army gets a bit stuck because of the wall. But size matters after all, and my army is a lot bigger than his, which means I don't have much to worry about. What you can do is rapidly go back to your prism after 20 seconds and warp more units. Press the gateway hotkey, press Z, grab the zealots by boxing, and you can even look at my minimap. I can just move on the minimap like this. It works, right? And I will grab the rest of my units, pressing the hotkey, and just move like this again. Looks like we're landing in unexplored territory, which means it should be a win, right? That's interesting build order by my opponent. 4 starports on 2 gases. I'm gonna take over and kite a little bit because I don't want this guy to lift all of his buildings and ruin my day. So I will just get rid of the building and why are you doing this to me, my friend? Well, technically it's more like me doing this to him, to be fair, but it's okay. So if these buildings are not revealed in a short span of time, there's a good chance there is a building on the map. Let's see if I win or not. Yes, I do not win, which means there's a building on the map. We need to go find it. So you know what you can do when you play someone like this? You could grab a piece of your army like this and use your minimap. Right now I'm pressing A and Shift together. And I will just go A, click, 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 click. Then I command this army. I press A again and maintain Shift. Right, yeah, my finger is still on Shift and I go A, click, 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 click. On all the potential locations. Oh, look at him. We got some Vikings here. So now I found the proxy location. I will just warp some more units, right? Get some zealots. Select them. And whenever they're finished, I will move on the minimap. Look at my minimap. I will just click here. And there you go. I won the game. Beautiful. Splendid. Alright. I hope we can get a little bit of a Zerg action because we've been playing the same races like Terran and Protoss. I would love to play a Zerg to get some change. But we'll see. And you can see if you look at the graph, if you're doing a good job, you will just spike in terms of units because when your 10 gateways turn online, you will just warp in non-stop, which means you will have a huge army very rapidly. Alright, what do we get? Serdeshko. That's what it says in Cyrillic. Alright, so it's PvT again, sadly. But we'll try to stay focused on the same task we're doing so far. But every time you play a game, when some habits get embedded into your fingers and your nervous system, you want to add more habits or just do them faster. So in this case, I'm going to try to make it a bit smoother, right? And see if I can improve my timings. So Nexus and rapidly Control 5, get my hotkey down there. And just get some probes. Now I'm ready. I know that in one more supply I will be making a beautiful pylon. So grab a probe, B, E, and shift command back to the minerals. You don't want to leave your workers idle, and you will be missing some potential income. And of course, the fewer minerals you've got, the fewer units you're going to get as a result. Alright, I will rally out next to the gateway, or the pylon I should say. There you go, gateway, and I can just click on the minimap, right click in this spot. Oh, puta madre. Looks like we got some. I actually need to play the game for real, looks like. So in this case, just command like this. Right click your mineral patch like this, right click, and then A move, and then right click, A move, right click, A move, and repeat that until the end of time. Yeah, I'm not a real bronze motherfucker. Get out of here. Alright, so... sorry, I had to do that. Like, come on, like... who the hell does that? Maybe I should have played the character all the way and try to actually A-move normally, but... this is pretty hard to do, but this is how you deal with it. Basically, you grab all your workers and right-click on one mineral patch, and all your probes will get stacked on one point. And then when you actually attack, click A move, all the probes that are on one spot will just release their attack all at the same point, and it will give enough DPS to just one-shot whatever is in range, in this case in SCV. Right? That's how you deal with it. It's probably very difficult, so if you play against this and you struggle, well... sucks to be you, I suppose, but you will learn as you... come on. You will learn as you get better at the game, of course. Right now, you don't really want to focus on that. You will very rarely face people who pull all their SCVs like this. Or maybe you will. Maybe I'm completely mistaken, but either way, when they attack you, you will have more workers than they do, because of course by the time they travel the map you will be making workers on your own, so you will have more, so you should be able to deal with that. Although SCVs have 5 more hit points than probes do, right? So if you can buy some time and get more workers, it should be just fine. But once again, it's probably not a situation you will find yourself in too frequently, at least I hope so for your sanity. But yeah, we'll try to go back to playing our normal build, hopefully. Maybe we can get some Zerg, some aliens. There you go. There you go. We have a beautiful Zerg opponent. So here's the twist. When you play against a Zerg, you actually need to wall your natural ramp. By natural, I mean the second base, right? This is called the main, and the second base is usually called the natural. So I make a probe, and right away, I rally downstairs already, as I hotkey my Nexus, because you want to wall this area over here to protect your natural base. So our probe is going to make a pylon, but you do not want to make a pylon randomly. You want the edge of the power field to meet the terrain. See, like this. It's literally on the edge. That's perfect. And then your probe is just gonna chill here. Go back to making probes. You do not want to cut probes too hard. I'm even queuing 2 just to make sure I do not cut it. Now you go back to our worker, and when your pylon finishes, I make a pylon there. You see the red dot? I cannot make it, which means I've reached the edge I should say. And there you go. Now we can go back to chrono boosting our probes and getting the gas. Right, so this is pretty much how you wall. First building over here on the very edge, you can use the little red dot to know whether you've actually hit the proper location. Then you will make a cyber core on the other side, and then you will make the remaining building in the middle by leaving just a little gap. You could fully wall in if you don't feel comfortable. That's also a possibility. Okay, we're at 20. So at 20 supply, we get, of course, our nexus. So I'm going to get a nexus over here. And then I'm going to get a cybernetics core. So as I said, you make it on the other side of the base, of the wall. There you go. Probe goes back to work, and we get one more probe. Looks like my probe is getting attacked. Oh no! Oh no, Probe just left us. What a shame. Too bad. I'm almost gonna cry. So we're going to get our next geyser at 21. And I've already got the money to make the pylon. Technically we're at 21, but we should be at 22 because remember, we just lost one probe. So this number is a bit deceiving. Right now it says 22, but had I kept my probe alive, I would be at 23, right? Okay. I think this bad boy is finished. So I'll queue warp gates, select my gateway, get a stalker, and I will just chrono boost it. And I just realized I forgot to actually hotkey my nexus on the natural. So I will click it, shift command, and add it to my control group. And now we'll make probes like my life depends on it. See, I'm at 4 out of 3, which is not what we want. So pull one probe and put it to the natural. Nexus finishes. Probe. Chrono boost the nexus. Chrono boost the nexus. Beautiful. And then we go. Time for stalker number 2, right? You just want to make 3 stalkers. You don't need more than that. That's enough. And now we actually want to finish our wall because if we've got some visits, we don't want our friends to go overboard. So look at how I do it. You don't put the robo like this. See, this is fully walled in. You put 1 square above to leave a little gap, right? And in this gap, this guy is gonna go here. Ideally, you would even press hold position. You press H on your keyboard if you're using the default hotkeys. And yeah, we'll make a final stalker. And just keep queuing probes. You know, I can queue 5 on both nexus, no big deal, as long as I'm making workers. So once again, some pylons to get some space over here like this. And once again, I want 2 extra gateways. There you go. If you've got a hotkey, you could add them together, and then you have a beautiful gateway hotkey. Okay, my saturation on the minerals has reached its limit, which means it's time to get 1 gas here and 1 gas there. Robo finishes. Oh, I forgot my robo hotkey, so I will do it now. I will add my robo hotkey, there you go, and I will press B, I, Nexus, chrono click. If it's too hard to do everything, just queue the units, that's fine. If you flood a lot of energy on your Nexus, no big deal. Okay, the assimilator is just finished. Grab 3 probes. I grab too many. Shift left click. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3. There we go. And now I will just get my Twilight Council and my Forge. Oh, looks like there's a probe about to pop, so I will just use this one. Twilight Council and Forge. And I will get my gateways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Because I've just made a lot of gates, now you're trying to You're starting to remember all the patterns, I suppose, so we get some more pylons to support my gateways and to have enough supply to make units. And now I've got my gates. I need my upgrades. +1 attack and charge. Can chrono boost both of these. And oh, looks like I forgot this building, my Templar Archive. How the hell am I gonna make Archons if I don't have this guy? There you go. Now I've got all my upgrades started. I've got all my buildings that I need. What do I need? I need to queue Warp Prism and make units. So, Z all the way. And as my gateways finish, I just make units non-stop, right? Just click on the map. Oh, I forgot to add. So you've got a warp in button. You should have one of these. Or you could use hotkeys for the gateways just like I do. No big deal. And just warp in. So you have 3 more gates and just warp. So you see, I'm not doing anything. Like I'm chilling. Don't make things too hard for yourself. So I've just made a lot of units, which means there's a good chance I get supply block for the next round. So for that to not happen, I need to get some pylons in advance. I'll get 4, you know. This is too many, but it's okay. It's rather, I would say I'd rather make too many than not enough. So I've got lots of gas. So remember, 1 Archon is 300 gas, so I can make 1, 2, 3. And right now my eyes are laser focused on my resources. So I have 400, I can make 1 more. Okay, I don't have 300 just yet, so I'll get 2 zealots instead, which only cost minerals. Now we'll do this to morph my beautiful Archons. I will press F2, Control 1 to hotkey my army in 1, and start to move out by clicking A and going out. Now, against Zerg, when you're leaving your base, I strongly encourage you to just put a cannon like this to fully wall in. Now, it's impossible to go through, so it's fully walled in. And a cannon will actually shoot, which will help you to actually deal with whatever unit is trying to send at you. Okay. I will just warp in. See, I have a little bit of a warp-in zone over there. So I will just use it and warp on my side. Make sure you warp on the side you're attacking into and not inside, because then you will need to break your own wall, which is not ideal. So once again, I'm going to attack just a bit before their base and rapidly go home and get some pylons. It would be silly to get supply blocked, right? Use shift, maintain shift pushed so you can actually get plenty of these. And I will get some more units. So right now my units are a bit on the way, right? Below my prism. I'll just warp a bunch. So I'm a bit supply blocked right now, not the end of the world. I will box my zealots and use shift 1 to add them to my hotkeys. Oh snap, my warp prism got taken out. Not ideal, but it's okay. I'm still gonna a move like this behind his base. Make life simple for yourself. And when you lose your warp prism, remember you've got hotkeys. What is your robo hotkey? Press it, press A, and you could rally point by right clicking like this. And if you've got spare attention, spare PM, you could warp at home because my warp prism got taken out, right? So just warp at home as you can. Select your zealots and press A. You can click on the minimap like I did. See, I'm clicking on the minimap. I'm A moving on the minimap. And my units will join the others. And I should be just fine. Corruptors are not exactly good at shooting Archons because they only shoot up, right? They don't shoot down. And that's a victory. Beautiful. Oh, looks like we're even getting promoted. We're getting promoted to silver. Amazing. Actually, I don't even know if I should cut the video right now or if I should keep going. I'm gonna check how long it lasted. 55 minutes. Yeah, we can go all the way to 1 hour. I think we should be just fine for this first part, for the very beginner part. So it looks like we're playing as Juggernaut again. Yeah, Juggernaut. Well, with a typo. So we go Nexus. Now we're silver. Now we're in silver. So this is the real deal. So hotkey the Nexus again. Rally out. Learn the right habits. grab the little bitch, pylon, back to work. That's how you do it. The rally point should go back to the minerals so that you don't have a random probe chilling instead of working. My pylon is about to complete. Once again, I'm using the rally points to make things as optimized as possible. I queue another probe, so there's no idle nexus. Gateway, I use the minimap. I right-click on the minimap so the probe goes there. I could even hotkey the probe like I just did. Chrono boost the nexus and get your geyser. Ideally, you would love to hotkey this gateway as well, right? And keep on making probes. So the 18th probe is actually the one that's building, right? Because I got 16 here and 1 there. Which means the last one, this one, is going to be the 20th probe. So I'm going to rally over here to get an access. And see, 17 of 16, there you go. So back to the gas. Nexus 20. My probe is getting attacked, but realistically I should not have the APM to take care of it right now. I'm too busy doing other stuff like getting a nexus and a core. I'm okay to lose my probe right now. I'm okay to lose it. I don't want to mess up with my build. This is way more important to follow the build order than to save my probe. So sorry buddy, but first things first. So because I lost my probe across the map, once again it's a bit messed up. It says 21, but in reality I would be at 22. And my pylon is supposed to go down at 22. So pretend you're still at 22 as if your scouting probe was still alive. Because if you do not get the pylon on time, see my core about to complete? My pylon should be finished at the same time. And you see right now I'm a bit supply blocked. I am not able to queue my stalker, right? Just because of this pylon not being finished. So we'll chrono boost my stalker. Make sure you queue warp gate. The most important upgrade as Protoss. 3, 3, 16. Beautiful. I can now rally downstairs. I will hotkey my nexus. I will shift up and add it to my natural. And now we'll smash the probe button. I can queue 5 on both nexus. I don't give a shit. And just chrono boost the natural and chrono boost the main. Beautiful. And I'm going to queue a stalker. And what you can do is click your hotkey of this gateway and right click your stalker. So now whenever my stalker goes, the rally point is going to follow my unit, you see? All the following units will be rallied to the pre-existing stalker, right? So, looks like I fell asleep and I forgot to make my robo. It's okay, I will do it now. Get my robo, there you go. And get the final stalker. Always monitor both bases. Is this nexus making probes? It's only making 1, it's getting dangerous. I'm gonna queue some more. This one as well, beautiful. See the little white dots means I'm queuing probes, so that's exactly what we're looking for. Now I need to get 2 extra gates, remember? There you go. I will add the 2 extra gates to my hotkey. And because I've got more production, I need pylons, because otherwise I'm gonna get supply blocked. And I want to spread the pylons to get as much room as possible for the later stages. I'm just realizing that I don't have a low ground pylon, which means in case of emergency, I'm not able to warp in any unit and I'm not able to make any battery. So I really want to actually get 1 pylon downstairs in this area. Okay, now my saturation is full on the minerals. I want to get 2 assimilators again, right? My robo is done. I have hotkeyed my robo, so I will double tap it. Press I, no, actually press B because I need an observer first. Press B, I, and then we're silver, so now we need to actually chrono boost things. And I will rally point down. Right click like this. Okay. Actually, I think I may need some units just in case. My 3 gateways are finished. I'm going to get 3 more stalkers just in case, So I'm fully saturated here. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. All my bases are fully saturated. I can now stop the worker production because we're going to stay on 2 bases. I want to make sure I have supply. You can always take a rapid look at the top right hand corner of your screen and check your supply. Now I'm going to go for Twilight Council and Forge. You see? See, if I'm selecting my pylons, there's room all over here, but in this area, there's no coverage. So I'm going to get a little pylon here. And now I can even make more buildings on all this area. My robo is sleeping, and I don't like to have this building idle. So I'm just going to press I to queue another immortal. Amazing unit. And I could even chrono boost it to make it faster. Now, my tech is about to complete, so I'll have my eyes fixed on it. +1 attack, charge, and I will chrono boost both these buildings. You can also monitor to make sure you're queuing the right upgrades, because sometimes out of misclick you could queue the wrong one, which would be catastrophic. If you queue Blink and you're making Zealots, that's not exactly what you're looking for. So this is time for gateways. Once again, you can see I have lots of money, so I'm gonna go once again all the way to 10. I've got 3 already. That's 7 extra, make it 10. Templar Archive, and I will put pylons around my gates, not only to have supply but also to protect my gateways in case I'm getting some visit. Okay, we've got our buildings, check. We've got our Templar Archive, check. We queued the upgrades, check. Now we need a Warp Prism. And then our pre-flight, pre-A move checklist should be complete. And now all we have to do is warp in Zealots. You've got everything that you need, all the tech. Oh, I'm getting attacked. When I'm getting attacked, what do? Panic. F2, A move. That's what you do when you're in panic. Just F2 and A move. I'm not doing anything, right? I can hear my gateways are finished. So if my gateways are finished, I press the hotkey for my gates and go get Zealots. I could make High Templars, right? But because there's a bit of an emergency, I just want to get Zealots because they warp in faster, or I should say, Archons take time to morph, so that's how you do it. And you see, this is why you make Immortals. This guy's got 9 kills. This is why you make Immortals. They're just so powerful. They're robust and deal a lot of damage. Okay, now I've got some breathing room. I can make my High Templars and take my time. So I look at my gas. I can make 1, 2, 3, 4, and I still have 300. I can make even one more. And I press C to morph them into Archons. Because I just warped in units, I need to get pylons for the next round. Oh, looks like my forge is done researching its upgrade. I will continue and get +2, just in case the game goes on. And now I will go back to my army. Okay, looks like my gateways are about to be refreshed. I wait for all my gates to be ready, and I can just go Z and warp in. And now I'll press F2 to regroup the entirety of my army. Press Ctrl 1 to get my control group. And just once again A move just a bit before the entrance of his base. So I can warp in one final time. Because you see, as I'm crossing the map, my gateways refresh. Which means if I attack before warping in again, I lose the potential to have 10 extra units, which is 20 supply. That's actually a big deal. So Prism in phase mode, Z, and all the units are warped in. I will select my Zealots, Shift and 1 to put them in the same control group with all the rest. I make sure all my units are in the control group. If that's done, I will do a beautiful A move like this. And I will not do anything else except watch. And this is how you do it. So now, what can I do? I know I'm winning the fight, supposedly. I can just go home and see what happens. Oh shit, there's a drop over here. Okay. I will box my probes and try to pull them outside of the action and warp in units in a safe location. Like this is a bit away from the Marines, because if I warp into his face, my Zealots will get attacked and damaged before they even get the chance to react. So now we'll just A move like this with my Zealots. And I think I should deal with that just nicely. I'm not even microing, I'm just A move, right? But always warp in outside of the action and then go in. Because if you warp to his face, all your units are going to get sniped immediately, or at least bruised, or even, yeah, strongly damaged. Alright, so I think that's it for part number 1 of Bronze 2GM. I will cover, of course, the following part in the next few days. I would love to have your feedback also if you think I should improve certain stuff. So just tell me, and I'll see you in the next one.